Hello! So I'm going to review this for you. This is the Xbox controller from Fusion. So it's the Fusion by Power A. It's obviously an official Microsoft thing. It's a chunky item. It's an £80 controller, $79.85. So I'm going to have a look at it. It's sealed to me. But before I talk more about it, I just got to say that this is not a paid promotion, but I did get the item free for review from the Amazon Vine Customer Review Program. And even though the item is free, I'm going to give you my honest opinions of it. So, first things first, I need to open this box, and planning would be planning if I had something to open it with. So, there's just two pieces of plastic front and back, and two pieces of plastic back and side. I really don't want to damage the box. It clearly slides off. So, once we've got this, it's quite well sealed. There we go. Trying not to damage anything. So what am I going to use this for? Well, I've actually got my Xbox downstairs. So, okay, we're clear? We're clear. So, I'm pulling. Wow, there we go. It's a little bit of, so basically, the air needs to get in there. And there it is. So you've got a really nice chunky box. I mean, that is proper gift worthy. And there's the item inside in a bag. So we've got a plastic insert, we've got something at the top which I'll go through in a second, the device itself, some nice artwork. The box looks really quite nice, quite like that. But let's just have a look at the box now. It's a bit lighter to turn around. So we've got, well, what indicates is the underside buttons, and then it talks about removable features. It says that there's, so this is called the Mappable Pro Pack, these thumbstick points here. So you'll have basically two underneath, and then the standard controls on top and front. It is a wired controller though, which is why I'm going to use it in here, because my PC is right there. I'm a games developer, so I need a controller at some point, and this is the one we're going to have. Saves me buying one. I'm cheeky, I know. Let's have a look then. Okay, everything's in a bag. What's this? I'm not sure what this is, so it's just a hollow insert there now. Falling off twice. It's a bit bottom heavy, that's all. Okay, we've got stickers. So we have Fusion Power Man, Fusion Power thing, I'm not sure what that is. And then an instruction manual. Pro wired controller. So we have right bumper, left bumper, all the standard controls. So all the standard controls that you expect, love, and adhere to. Here's the underside items. So enough of the preamble. Let's get to the money shot. Okay, this is a semi-rigid zippable bag. It says Fusion. Quite like that. I think that would go quite well in my bag or wherever. Okay, so initial openings. There's how it is. We've got the controller here. We've got items that, in fact, I can tip it. It holds in quite well. These are new, different hand pieces. These are the underside thumb pieces. There's the controller main. At the top, we've got the actual wire. Okay, it's a braided wire. It's really quite nice. So let's get the controller in hand and see what we have. That feels really nice. Okay, it feels really, really nice. So I've got the Xbox One X downstairs with the dull dark controller. This is slightly different. So what this is looking at is, first of all, these steel surround pieces. So each piece around these rings is steel. Certainly looks steel. No, it's cold. It feels like steel. It's not plastic, but this is plastic. So this is plastic with like a hint of rubberization. But if we turn it over, you can see these are textured rubber pad areas. So these feel lovely. These feel really, it feels really nice. Okay, so what have we got here? This says T1, T3. So I'll have to look at what these controllers do. So this is like a selectable thing to say what they do, I guess, and there's one either side. There's a door that says open close. So that's the connector, I presume, for the underside wire. So I'll leave that door off for now. The door's a little bit janky. That's a little bit loose, a little bit plastic, but it is just a cover. I'm going to assume they want it to be left on. This says program, so this button here, that button there, says the word program on it. Then it's a standard USB connection. The good thing is, it's a small touches, but the labels that say LB, RB, you read them, you turn them that way up, and you can read it says that. Quite like that. So it just feels really nice. It feels really nice. The button presses are so-so. They're okay. It's just the general feels really nice. It's as heavy as my other controller, which is a wireless controller, which has the AA batteries in it. It's as heavy as those. So there's some chunk in this. These are, I can feel. So as I swing this backward and forward, I can feel the center of gravity is more here in the palm area. So the weight is wanting to go out in my palms, and weight dissipates at 45 degrees from the angle. So as it hits my skin, all the force is going down my arm properly. It feels really nicely balanced. Buttons feel good. They do feel fine. I mean, and the thumbsticks, personally, I wouldn't change them, but we'll see what the offerings are. So let's go back to the rest of the kit in the box. So this is just a foam pad that was holding in this piece. I need to get this in place. So this is whoa. Okay. Okay, I don't want to break anything. So there's green rings to take off and change to these spare controller caps. So you can swap them for greens. And there's two of them. So there's two caps, which I'm just not interested in them at all. I'm interested in this thing here, which, if I hold this up, if I lift this up, it feels really strange, because so these lift up and come out, and underneath is a little tiny micro switch, and if I hook them in and down again, if I touch this, I'm getting, can you hear that? I'm getting a micro switch. So I'm assuming that this fits directly into this capsule, like so, and I've now got, so I've literally got 4 extra buttons. I don't know how often I'd hit them by accident. I'd have to certainly take the weight. So I've got my office chair, and I'd have to put my elbows down just to have some purchase. But definitely, if I got used to this, okay, they're a little bit stretching. So you can see the size of my hand. I'm an adult, obviously, and I want to put my pinkies on these, my ring fingers on the next, my middle fingers on the bottom shoulder bumpers, and my index fingers on the upper buttons, the upper shoulders. Yeah. If not, what I want to do is my standard grip would be to hold the motor points, have my ring fingers on the first, my middle fingers on the second, and then my index fingers on the lower bumpers. And in doing that second style of grip, I can immediately click. I'm immediately pulling these here, and to try and get to those, the first L and B buttons. Going to there, absolutely natural. That is an absolutely natural stance for me. That's absolutely normal. I could use that, but I think you're meant to go like that for a full effect. But in doing so, I need to plant my elbows. I'll let you know in the write-up if there's anything negative to add about this. But what I will do now, I don't have a single game installed to test this, but I will plug it in and see that it gets detected. So we have quite a nice long cable. We have, you'll have to forgive my squeaking office chair, it's slowly dying under my massive body weight. And we will just, so that's a little bit tangled. It's come with Velcro around it, obviously. So there is a catch release on here, so it won't pull out easily. And we're going that way up. So that now is secure. That will not come out of there. It will hold in. But you have to remember that you are connected. If I can connect, there we go. Windows has detected. Set up game controllers. Game controller for Xbox One for Windows. Status OK. Properties. So that's that is the right hand hat. That is the left hand hat. So that is the Z axis. It's defaulted to 1, 2, 3, 4, and the Xbox game bar is actually coming up when I press home. That's quite good. So let's connect this and see if they are automatically detected. Not automatically. So this says T1 T. So T1 T1. Trigger 1 trigger 1. No changes. Let's. Okay, getting this unplugged from the controller is a mammoth task. I don't recommend that, guys. Yeah, can't actually get that unplugged again. Just cannot. It's just solid. Okay, that's in there now. So let's see what that does about putting it back in the case. That makes putting it back in the case a bit of a problem, doesn't it? Yeah, not the brightest of ideas there. I'm beginning to regret that. I'll have to see if I need to plier that off, just to get a pair of grips and just tweak it to pull it out. I'm trying to get these to detect. They won't. So let's plug in the device. Game controller is not connected correctly. Fine. Plug it back in. Retry. Cancel. Properties. So yeah, these are not by default aren't detecting. I will have a quick squiz at the instruction book, which I put somewhere and lost. There it is. Mappable Pro Pack is what it's talking about. Oh, it says that's a 3.5mm audio. Yeah, there's a 3.5mm audio just there. I didn't even notice that. Apologies for my lackluster reviewing. I normally go for a quick fire review of these sort of things because people hate these long reviews of mine. So there's the instructions about the lever up, lift out, lever back down stuff. So you can choose to have perhaps only 2 of them. Just like that. I can get it out. There you go. So those 2 are now out. So now there's only 2 there. So you can just choose which ones are going to be present and mappable or not, which is I actually quite like that. I've got to be honest. So now I can't get it back in. Okay, I don't want to break it putting it back in. It feels so strange. There we go. I will say that these are metal pieces, okay, and that is a plastic housing. So these metal pieces versus plastic housing makes me really think, oh wow, I'm not going to be able to do it. So yeah, basically by default those aren't showing up. I'll have to have a read about those. Other than that, all working fine. So if I've got any issues, I'll put that in the write-up. If I haven't, I haven't. I'll just try once more on camera to get this off. See if I can use a piece of metal. No. It's just not coming off. I'll do the other side. No. So what I'll do is I'll very carefully get a pair of grips, which I'm sure I've got some somewhere, and I will just try and get that back out. That's a big pain in the bum. That it's not. I understand they want it to stay in. I get that. I absolutely get that. But what's the point of all of this nicely moulded bag if once you've connected the wire you can't take the wire back off again? Yeah, so that's what's tempering me right now. Quite like all the rest of it. That's my long-winded review of the Fusion by Power A Xbox and Windows 10 controller. I can't find the start button.